Good afternoon. It's nice to have you join us on another edition of the program Democracy and the Rule of Law. My name is Judith Erenua. On the program today, we're taking a look at two bills. One is the Peace Corps bill, which the President Muhammadu Buhari has withheld his assent from, and also the new bill on hate speech, which is generating diverse views in Nigeria, which is newly proposed by the House National Assembly and has passed first reading on the floor of the Senate. President Muhammadu Buhari has withheld assent to the bill seeking to establish the Peace Corps. The president informed lawmakers of his decision in a letter reading during plenary on Tuesday by the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara. President Buhari cited security concerns and financial burden of funding the organization by the government as his reasons for rejecting the Nigerian Peace Corps establishment bill. According to the president, and I quote, "Given scarce government resources, funding the organization will be a financial burden on the federal government." Buhari said further in the letter that the organization is a duplication of existing security agencies. He said the bill seeks to empower the Peace Corps to undertake activities currently being performed by extant security and law enforcement agencies in the country. The National Assembly passed the Peace Corps bill in 2017 after a prolonged battle involving the organization and the nation's security agencies, particularly the Nigeria Police. The police has cordoned off the office of the headquarters of the Peace Corps since the 28th of February 2017, despite two court judgments and the committee's directive asking them to leave. The bill has been widely anticipated by many Nigerians, especially the youth who believe the creation of the Peace Corps will reduce unemployment. All right, we'll be getting the views of our legal practitioners in the studio who will be contributing, either agreeing or disagreeing with the president for the reasons he has given for withholding his assent on the Peace Corps bill. And coming up next after that will be the hate speech bill, which is proposing death by hanging. Just stay with us. We'll be right back.
Our attention was drawn to the fact that the Minister of Interior has directed the police and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps to deploy their manpower to schools and colleges in the Northeast with arms. The country may not appreciate the potential damage that will accompany invading schools and colleges with arms. You know the psychological implication on our youth, and they tend to learn faster. One of the reasons why we have high level of insecurity in Nigeria today is the proliferation of arms into the society. The same court that they are prosecuting me has ordered that they should vacate that office. So we are going back to the court. And also the National Assembly has also waded in. As you know, by Tuesday we'll be going back before the Committee of Public Petition. Even when the IG is supposed to appear on Tuesday and he never came, they have concluded that when he doesn't come again on Tuesday in person, the National Assembly will invoke its power. So we won't take laws into our hand. We'll explore every avenues lawfully to ensure that they obey the laws of the land.
That was the commandant of the Peace Corps of Nigeria, Ambassador Dixon Ako, while reacting to the president withholding his assent on the bill in Abuja on Friday. And like I said, we have three legal practitioners in the house who will be doing justice to this. All right, the first person on my list, well, his name is Justice, so you're welcome, Justice Ogieno. All right, thank you and welcome. I also have with me Seun Alade, you're welcome.
Thank you for having me on the program.
And our regular Joe Nwokedi, you're welcome.
It's a pleasure, viewers, I greet you.
All right, the Peace Corps bill, what was your immediate reaction? I'll start with you.
For me, I think the president did not act well because if you check the level of insecurity we have in the nation, if you look at the level of policing we have, and if you look at recent developments that have been encountering in the country, I mean, anything that has to do with security, we should be giving adequate attention because we don't have enough. So what the reasons the president gave for not assenting to that bill, for me, is ill-advised. It's ill-advised. Although he has the powers to withhold his assent as enshrined in our constitution, powers given to him by the constitution, 1999 constitution as amended. But then that power should be used positively to affect the lives of people in a positive way. Because if you look at the number of people who have per individual, look at what just happened recently, that she girl's kidnapped, and the level of claims and abuse and shifting blames and everything that just took place. Because we don't have enough security, we don't have enough manpower, we don't have enough police orderly, we don't have enough army details, we don't have enough, even the army, they're not supposed to be guiding the conduct of people, I mean, pure civilians. Because we don't have enough, that's why we have gotten to the level of deploying our military to start guiding and guarding some places that ordinarily a more civilized kind of agency or security should be deployed to handle. Armies are not known, they're not known for intelligence gathering. They're not known to relate with people one-on-one. They're not known to understand the conduct of the citizens. They are to be engaged in core crisis, something that have actually spiraled into crisis, war, full-blown war. That's when you move the military. But these are the people that we can use to enable the system to be well policed, to be well monitored, to be well supervised. So if we look at it and they believe it will create employment, to enhance our security, and it will also generate jobs, why shouldn't the president assent to it? Because the reasons he gave about the paucity of funds, somebody was saying, you have to say, yes, we may not have enough money that we want. We are borrowing money. We are borrowing money for other projects.
But should we continue to borrow?
What are the effects of? Well, no. Now, security. What are you borrowing money for? Okay. You are borrowing money to execute projects, to put up infrastructure to be enjoyed by human beings, by members of the site, and they are not being protected. So their protection should be the priority first. Protect them. Let them be adequately protected before you now think of what you use to make life easy for them. Look at what has transpired in some parts of the country, in Benue, in Taraba, in Zamfara. Killings going on here and there. So the money you are borrowing is for the dead. I had one time governor of Benue State said he was elected for the living and not the dead. So for me, I don't see why something like that, what they have to do, if there are some aspects of the bill or whatever that the president did not find comfortable, he should refer it to the National Assembly. This area, kindly look into it. Right. If it's like overlapping with the powers of the police, if it will cause conflict, let there be a clear-cut distinction between the powers.
All right.
Then let they have the defined assignments that they should be entrusted with. And then to go ahead and carry that assignment. But for me, the reasons incited, that paucity of fund, it didn't go down well.
All right. Shehu, I know the price, the cost for peace can never be costlier than that of crisis. And also the price for peace is inestimable. But the president has cited paucity of funds, yes. And we also have cases where security agencies in Nigeria complain about not having enough funds to get the necessary logistics and equipment to tackle crime. So why add to the burden of the federal government? Are you with the president on this?
Okay, to start with, why I agree with my senior colleague on what he said about not having enough security details in the country to start with. But I will deviate from his reasoning a bit.
Okay.
Looking at this issue, it's a burning issue. They call us online what do you call it? Tenants, So if you're online, it's that this is a burning issue. You see youths talking about it, and then to even shed light on how touching this matter of the Peace Corps, assent is. There was a video that was circulating on the internet, where one of the commandants of the Peace Corps, one of the Peace Corps commandants fainted upon hearing the news. I don't know if you saw that video.
Yes,
so that shows you, what's at stake. And I have friends who are involved in this, in the Peace Corps. So I hear them. But, you have the military, you have the police, you have the Federal Safety Corps, you have the NSCDC, you have those agencies. And people have said, even some of these agencies, what they do are what the police in other crimes do.
Yes.
So what you have NSCDC doing is what the police do, and then you are bringing in another agency of government. So you have that argument from that point of view.
Yes.
You also have people who are saying this is going to, that's before going into the issue. I'm just trying to lay, a background. You say when if you create, the Peace Corps as one of the security agencies in the country, you have the man of war, which has been in existence for a long while. They will also be making a claim that they also want to become, for now, they are just operating by the sideline, but we know they exist,
yes.
the man of war. And so, okay, since, that you can make a bid to make us one of the security agencies, why not make the man of war also an agency of the government? Those are issues. So I'm saying, yes, we don't have enough security details, but why not, empower the police, do you understand, to recruit more, get more funding to do what they should do. I've read, if you read online, you see where we say you have policemen that are not enough. If you see the rate of the, how do you call it, the per head calculation of how many police to citizens, you see that it's very, very low. So of course we need more policemen. But even as we have lower number of policemen, you have several of them being attached to private citizens.
Yes.
You hear of policemen that carry the bags, of private citizens carrying umbrellas in a country where we don't have enough. So I think there are issues that need to be dealt with. Do you understand? We need to strengthen our laws. This is not what these security people are meant to do. Do you understand? There are people, in the streets who need to be protected. They don't have that protection. And then one man, just because he has some bags of money, has, 10 security details, behind him. That needs to be looked into. So that, you have more people to attend to what they should attend to. And then if there is need, if there is a shortage of manpower, what about the agencies that are in place? Strengthen them. The agencies that are in place, fund them, get more people. Do you understand? Recruit more before we now go into the issue of creating yet another agency. That's my opinion.
All right.
I agree that it's going to take a whole lot of people out of the unemployment market. Do you understand? But if you're talking about security, we can't continue to put our security in the hands of people who the reason why they want to join these security forces is just because they don't have a job. That's a security.
Because one of the arguments I hear is who needs more armed men to intimidate us?
Exactly.
We have enough already in our hands, so why
I think so.
the Peace Corps?
And then you are getting someone who needs money. The reason why he wants to join this
agency is because he's unemployed. Because he's passionate
so
about
he's going
serving.
to be using that power against you. You see it in Lagos where you have all these agencies, Kai, they harass you. Do you understand? Even Kai that doesn't wield weapons, they harass people because they're in uniform. So is that what we want? I'm not speaking against the Peace Corps, but I'm saying there are things we need to, points we need to take care of before we now bring in another agency to join the security details.
All right, Justice, what's your view?
Okay, my view on this is simple. We are in a situation where we have to make a choice between two evils. And I think we should choose a lesser evil. I'm diametrically in support of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. In fact, it is Toga as the Commander-in-Chief for taking such an action. And the reason why I say this is because if you check our budget, it may be politically correct to say, okay, unemployment, because of unemployment, we should take in more people, but it is not economically brilliant to do that. Check our budget. It's less than 30% that's available for capital expenditure. So should we say because we want to employ more people, we should go bankrupt and just keep paying people who, as my learned colleagues have said, are not persons who are passionate about the job? So because of that, I strongly am in support of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is a very rare thing to do. People are really in support of him, but on this one, I'm in support of him. And we must also know that the fact that he has withheld his assent does not mean that it will not become law. I usually describe the role of a president in lawmaking as merely a rubber stamp. Because if there is anonymity, if there is unanimity amongst the legislators, it will always pass. In fact, in less than 60 days, we can still have this argument, our debate, our interlocution might change completely in less than 60 days. If the National Assembly decide that as representatives of the people, this is what they want,
so we'll give it to them.
So they can just still have their way, but again, it is not economically sound. We must, okay, I want to just add this too. We must always remember that lawmaking does not start with the first reading, second reading, third reading, or committee stage or whatnot. Lawmaking starts with lobbying. There are people that are pushing for these things to come. There are people who are already chairmen. They have been signed as the chairman of this commission. There are people who have already, the heads of their communities have already, they've already dropped the names of 1,000 people to be employed by these people. So they are the ones pressing. And when they have legislators in the house, they also put so much pressure on those legislators in order to ensure that these things pass. And that shouldn't be, Nigerians should stand up against this thing.
All right.
Okay, can I just say, they have actually spoken well, but I want to let gentlemen know one thing. Okay. You know, EFCC was created. I will have the police. Yes. ICPC was created and we have the police. Yes. And today we know what they are doing. We know what the police is also doing. You know, it's not about multiplicity of agencies. It's about defined goal and mission. It's about defined goal. I handle police issues a lot. And I know how they complain. Police is just like an amalgam of so many things. Sometimes there are issues that we might even take to police that may have a semblance of civil aspects, civil issues. We'll still find a way to get it to the police. So when you get to the police, they are like overburdened. You get to police, you see so many divisions, you see human rights, you see the general division, you see special this one, special fraud, special crime, anti-crime, anti-vice, anti-this and anti-that. You see child rights, you see underage, you see homicide, a lot of things in the police. And these are like overburdening the police. If you can specifically create an agency and say, deal with this, empower them, define their goals, give them the capacity to move in, they will do that. In as much as we talk about passion, yes, we are lawyers that will have passion, but we also get into law because we want to eat. So we cannot say those people are solely struggling to get into that for because they want to eat. Wherever you work is where you eat. But the issue is how do we guide them? How do we direct them? How do we cause them to achieve a particular result? Look at our border. It's so porous, and the people who have, to some extent, we may even say they have been compromised. They don't have the desire or the zeal or the passion again. These are the young people with new breed, new focus, new orientation, new set of ideas, trying to like come in to serve the nation.
Even on the issue of funding, the commandant did say that international donor agencies are also encapsulated.
How many mushroom private securities do we have in Nigeria?
But at this point, with this, is it not enough for him to go to the president or those around in the presidency to convince him about this issue of funding? It's one of the problems.
Yeah, let him just sign it into law and allow them to find a way to run their issues.
He can't sign it if he's not convinced.
No, that's what I'm doing. Let them convince him. Let us say he was misguided. I say he was misinformed. He was ill-advised. He has advisors. You have consulted widely. He have gotten his the people in his legal team. Have talked to Attorney General. There are some people within the legal body that will just advise him as legal advisors. I was saying it was ill-advised. It was ill-conceived. Because if you look at it, like the civil defense costs we have, initially we have an issue of this pipeline, vandals, whatever, whatever. The moment they brought them, they have been given information. It was because of the encounter they used to have with pipeline vandals that made the government to limit feet, to give them guns. To give them guns. Police couldn't do that. And when we deployed them, they were able to solve that area. At the level of pipeline vandalism or whatever, just ended with creation of that civil defense and whatever cops. And now if you bring these people and define their goal, say go after this so and so and so. If you don't achieve this result, we're going to disband you.
It's not easy.
No, whether it is easy or not, they'll do it. Like what I'm saying, EFCC now, we know they are all police officers. They are majority police officers. But they usually have non-police officers. Yes. But look at what they're doing. They still have units in the police. They have SFE, Special Fraud Unit. They have a state criminal investigation department, SCID, and all the rest. But once you have that, once you said you are an EFCC man, there's a way people look at you, and there's a way you look at yourself, and it's a way you carry out your job. Despite the fact you are still a policeman, you know you're a different policeman for a special mission, and that mission must not fail. So the president should, and if it's going to create jobs, why not? The budget should be increased. We cannot have a rubber stamp budget. If our budget says, in fact, the misnomer of this country is that we look down on education and we look down on security. And these are the cardinal points that can determine the progress of any nation. But we don't give priority to them. Education and security. Secure the people, educate them. And they talk about other things. They'll build industries. They'll build factories. They'll build them. They'll go into the economy. They'll do other things. Two things. Educate them and secure them.
So no price is too much.
No price is too much. No, give them security. Educate them. Don't put the money there. We don't care. Let them. They don't care.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, if I may add, you know, he made a good point, you know, on lobbying. You know, but he was trying to move against lobbying. He can't stop lobbying. Even, you know, in the United States of America, who, you know, the whole world looks to as leader of the free world, they have people who their job is to lobby. So you can't take that away. And, you know, when I look at this Peace Corps, you know, bill, how he was able to, you know, pass reading at, you know, the National Assembly and to get to the point where it was sent to the president, I saw that there were actually people, just like he said, who moved this bill. What do they hope to achieve? If you're saying you want to take people off the unemployment market, which I agree, that do you understand, it's one of the main aims of government.
So creating employment.
You can create employment through the police. Okay, say all these, you know, there are people who already wear uniform for Peace Corps. Absorb all of them into the police. Still won't have a police force that is enough to take care of us. If that's the main issue that people are using for this Peace Corps, absorb all of them into the police. We are saying, let us understand what the Peace Corps is for. Hope this is not an issue where once this scales, another agency is going to come up and say, I want, that's what we need to look at the precedent that we are setting. Do you understand? The Peace Corps has been able to come up because of the NSCDC. And so once this one goes through, and that one is coming, Nigeria.
If they meet the standard, let them keep
all
on
right,
going.
let
They must go through the
Kindly
bill.
oblige
quickly
me.
before we
meet the standard,
go
let
into
them keep on
the
going.
mission
They must
and
be passed through the
objective
law.
of PCN.
Kindly
Yeah.
They are
oblige
approved and
me.
passed
Alright,
through the law.
Kindly oblige me reply to, because he said I was trying to bring lobbying down. That is not it. Lobbying usually there are two sides to it. It can be the positive side, it can be the negative side. Because he also brought America into the question, I'll talk about one of the greatest lobbying organizations in America. It's called the NRA, National Rifle Association. They are the ones fighting tooth and nail to ensure that automatic guns remain in the hands of the average American from 18-year-old and above, whether they are insane or not. And those ones have been, these insane, less than 21-year-olds have been going about killing people. That tells us that there can be negative lobbies, and that may also be what is in point, because he also raised the point of NSCDC. Even NSCDC, as it stands, they are not standing on 4 legs. They still have issues pursuant to section 215 of the Constitution and pursuant to section 217 of the Constitution. People are still saying that it is not a constitutional body, that even though it came to be, it is not one that the National Assembly at the time or its equivalent had the power to bring into creation. So if the NSCDC as a body that we see bearing rifles and doing things that the police are empowered to do are not standing on 4 legs, how will the Peace Corps? It will be like opening a Pandora's box. We don't know the kind of evil that will flow out next.
All right, let me tell you a little about the Peace Corps of Nigeria. The Peace Corps of Nigeria accorded a special consultative status by the United Nations Economic and Social Council. ECOSOC is a non-governmental and uniformed youth organization that focuses on working with the youth and getting to know them, their personalities, their dreams and aspirations, their fears, their failures, their successes, and their passions, with a view of building, harnessing, and redirecting their productive energies towards the socio-economic and political advancement of the nation. It was founded by a youth strategist, Ambassador Dixon Akor, on the 10th of July, 1998 in Kaduna, northern Nigeria. PCN, in its commitment to national creativity, peace, and youth development, is registered in Nigeria under the Company and Allied Matters of 1990, Part C. And Ambassador Akor observed that Nigeria, being endowed with one of the best human and natural resources where the youth could use and attain their full potentials, identified the absence of a comprehensive and practical orientation program which will serve as a social mechanism towards meeting their modern day challenges, and that's the reason why the Peace Corps came into being. So I've read the vision and mission of the PCN, and to me personally, I don't think any other security organization has the same objective as the PCN.
Yeah, from what you just read now, you could actually broaden the scope.
Just about the youths.
Yes, the youths. Yeah. And if you look at the population ratio we have in Nigeria, majority of the people are within the age bracket of what is defined today as youths, 40 years down. And they are the very, very productive stage in human life. And in Nigeria here, they have been the most misguided. The most misguided. Okay, that's why we still see people 75, 76, 80 still in government. Because our youths are the most misguided. In fact, somebody was just saying that, God forbid that he'll be alive in the next 30 years to see what Nigeria will look like. And I agree with the person. Yeah, because I have about 5 of them working in my office and paying. And then I treat them like children. I treat them like, so I will ask them, do you pass through parents? What do they teach you? For certain things, the way they behave, I was like, God, this they take over from us or what? So I'll be like wondering. So for this thing to be created, I mean, it's something very, very laudable. It's something that will bring our young people into what they ought to be. Because presently, what is consuming their time is all these bets. You can see how many bets we have in Nigeria. We have Naira bets, we have Niger bets, we have a lot of bets, we have best bet, we have 1960 bets, we have more than almost 300 or 400 registered bets.
Means of making fast money.
Bets. Other ones are Yahoo. Somebody was just arguing over Yahoo, why Yahoo is a very productive business. Say, is that a profession? Is that something certain? Is it something that will sustain you to become 78? Is it something that can take care of, you can transfer to your children? Is that what you call a profession? Why should that argument come up in the first place? But this is the way how you start. Talk of clubs, talk of fancy, talk of music. Music is good. I told him, one of them was just miming all the music from it. I said, do you want to be a musician? He said, no. I said, why are you miming all the songs? Music will make you happy when you want to feel happy. Don't go and learn and mime all the songs. It's not your profession. You know, if you want to be into music, good and fine, you can mime all the songs and learn it and go and become a musician. But if you don't want to be, then sing a song for a while to be happy, you play a song and be happy, and go and focus on what you will be. So we need a whole lot to be done on our youth. So I mean, this creation is a very, very good one. The only fear we may have here is for them to be misdirected. It's for them to come in there and then start, engaging something inimical, something that may be detrimental to the reasons for establishing them, and they're not fulfilling that purpose. But for me, I don't have that kind of fear. I'm a kind of person, I'm daring. I don't care about what will happen when something is created. Even when I was in school, they come up with something in school they want to do. I say, let them do it first. If they start misbehaving, we'll face them, we'll fight them. They cannot say they will not do it because they will misbehave. I said, no. Let them do it and misbehave. When they misbehave, we'll fight them. We find a way to, if you say something cannot be done because you are scared, afraid, it might become this, then you're not a strong man. You're not a visionary person. You don't have that courage. Let something come in. Like, find a way to solve the problem. Everything comes with a problem. No matter how beautifully packaged, no matter how palatable, how fanciful it might be, there might still be a challenge there. But then find a way to contend that challenge and then still direct that people on the path of the reasons for creating that establishment. So from what you have, from what Peace Corps stands for me, I believe is something that our country should absorb into the society. Because we need to monitor our youth, call it a crime. There was an issue we have somewhere in our area. We were complaining about upsurge of one boy that used to come with a lot of young people. I said, I'm not comfortable with seeing young people like 20 or 30 or 15 at once. I said, because I'm a police, I go to handle criminal matters so much. This is the age bracket you have inside the prison. That's the age bracket you arraign every day in court. Before you see 35, 40, 50, it may be like they're going inside the face me, I face you apartment. But you see the snatching of phone, handsets, breaking of offices, cutting a wall of industrial materials, all the raping, all those things are within the age bracket of the young people. So we have to find something to engage their minds, direct their minds, focus their minds, because they will eventually take over. They will eventually take over. I know one day I threw up an argument that if somebody can tell me the House of Rep member or Senate or whatever representing a particular area in Lagos, I'll give that person 10,000. After about 20 young people, nobody was able to say it. And I say, I'm giving the person 10,000. People are having arguments here. Tell me the name of the council of this place, name of the local government chairman, name of the House of Assembly member or Senate. I say it doesn't. I say, okay. I'll give 10,000. Nobody answered that question. They don't know. And how can you change the society when you don't even know the people manning the affairs of the society? People determining how you have the collective welfare, the collective wealth, the commonwealth of the society, you don't even know their names. So we have to do a lot to channel our youth to productivity. And because of that, we have to hurriedly pass this thing into law and begin to implement whatever vision statement they have for the overall benefit of our young people.
All right, now the president has withheld his assent on the Peace Corps bill. Lawmakers are reacting. I read several reactions, and I'm wondering what could happen now that the president has withheld his assent on the bill. What do you think may likely happen, and what can the National Assembly do about this? Just the past, yeah.
Okay. He's already mentioned it. You know that yes, the president has that power to to withhold or to give his assets. But if, like you said, if the National Assembly can agree on it, of course they can still pass that bill into law. They can. And someone said, okay, so let's look beyond it. Like I said, I'm someone who spends time on social media. So I see people already looking at that option. Okay, so even the national commander has mentioned that this is not the end of it. Mr. President, you've withheld your assent. We will go back to the National Assembly. And they're saying, okay, in the event that they are able to get the National Assembly to pass this into law, how are you going to take care of the issue of funding? There are other issues that will come up. It's not just by the time you create, just like forcing a baby on a father that doesn't want it. Yes, the baby is here. Now, how do we take care of this child that we have given birth to? That is not, so it's something that should be looked at critically. It's not just about passing it to law. Myself at this point in time, what we are looking at is to pass it to law. But after passing it to law, how do you take care of that establishment? Do you think the president who has withheld his assent is going to nominate people to
appointments
and all those things? Or you continue to go to the National Assembly, and then if you get the National Assembly to even make appointments, which I doubt that to happen, what about funding? Then the government says, okay, I'm giving them, I already told you from the outset I don't have money for these people. So I'm not giving them any money, and then you are going to starve them to death. Now, the people who have been employed, because they already have employees, who are waiting for salaries at the end of the day, that hope is going to be dashed. It's going to be dashed. So let them go back to drawing board. If, just like you said, I like the point that is made, if rather than going back to the National Assembly, speak to the president, find a way of making him see if there are reasons why he should assent his bill. It's better than going through the back door and then getting the National Assembly to pass it to law. That's what I honestly think.
All right, what's your take?
Okay, my take on it is that, of course, a lot of people have also touted the fact that it's going to be funded from non-governmental.
That's what the commandant said.
That's what the commandant said. Let me give you a statistic. Let me give you an idea of the number of persons that they said are currently under their employment. 150,000. 150,000.
That's a huge number.
So we are talking about billions in salaries already. So who is going to, which donor has money? Which international donor has cash awaiting some coffers to distribute? There are more serious issues in Syria. There are more serious issues in Yemen. There are more serious issues in, just name it, everywhere. DRC, Central African Republic. More dire circumstances. So who will give you the billions to pay some people who are
when it's not any sort of investment?
Yes, when it's not a sort of investment or it's not a dire situation. The IDPs are still there within Nigeria. They have not been funded with billions. So who will give you? So those are some of the issues. I think if they assume that the president will sign this thing beforehand and the president will finance it, now the president has shown them that that's not a go area. That he's not willing to sign it. So it shows that he's not willing to finance. So there have to be some amendments in the body of that law saying that, okay, number one, they are cutting away or they are cutting way down the number of persons that are going to be taken into employment. And from what my learned senior also said, they are going to, now I think they should refashion it to be people who are going to be training the youths on orientation, even though that's also a sort of duplication of the work of the National Orientation Agency. If that is what they are standing for, because what it looked like to everybody is that they are going to be an armed, it looked like a security argument. So it looked like it's going to be in competition with the police.
The NSCDC.
And in fact, aside when you were reading the mission was written by the person, one of the persons starting themselves as the Commandant General. And I need to also draw attention to the fact that there are two rival groups laying claim to the fact that they are the genuine Peace Corps. And I don't think that has been finally put to rest. So that was the mission as canvassed by one of the Commandant Generals. So why is the police restive?
To that mission and
how are we sure? Why is the police restive? The major reason why the police is restive is because they don't want what happened to the NSCDC to repeat itself, and it will just be a free for all at the end of the day.
And you also know there's been a subsisting two-court judgment asking the police to vacate the headquarters of the Peace Corps Nigeria, and which has not been honored. Even the House of Representatives has insisted the IGP should appear before it and explain why he disobeyed the court orders. What do you think is, what's the fear of the police?
The fear of the police is because, like my colleague said here, they don't want, they're afraid of competition. They're afraid of another body that may fail, but succeed where they are failing. Where they have failed. Yes. That's their major fear. If they'll be listening, they know me, they're my friends. That's their major fear. If not, I don't see why it should be their headache. I don't know why police should be disobeying order of courts and fighting tooth and nail to make sure this Peace Corps doesn't come to existence. What concerns them there? Because they are afraid that these people may succeed where they have failed. They might unravel so many things they've been telling Nigerians that they know they've been like trying to flash before us as one of the reasons why for their inefficient service delivery. And these people might unravel the mystery and they come up with things that people may say, oh, so this is possible. Because the police, we know, they have introduced so many reforms in the police, they've bring so many commissions, and the irony of it, they always recycle the former IG, the former IG Onovo, either Kumasi, all the former retired police officers who've been nominated to come and rehabilitate the police. We've carried out reform. I said, why are you bringing former IG to come and reform the police? People that were part of the problem, finished up and enjoyed the problem until they retired. You now brought them back to come and reform what they polluted.
What reforms?
What reform do you think? That's why you cannot see any reform in the police. Although they might have actually, they are coming up, but it's like a tortoise kind of progress. Because I visit them all the time. So police should hurriedly vacate that place. And that's another place we have issue in Nigeria. Police disobeying order of the court going free. I know a matter we are handling in the court. They might listen to me. We have gotten order of court. They have been served and they refused. They kept on building on that place. They even opened that place up. They launched everything there. They'll tell you, are they not the one that will force the order? If National Assembly arrests them to do something, like the time National Assembly has issue with IG of police, can they force IG of police to appear? Who are they going to use to arrest the IG of police? Police again. And IG will give order. So I think court should have its own police. Or a kind of a security outfit that will be enforcing court orders outside police. And National Assembly should be given a kind of their own police that will be enforcing order against the police. Because if we believe that police will always enforce orders, they don't enforce any order against them. The worst case scenario is that you have a gun issue order, you go to court and bank and issue the account and pick up their money. But in terms of physical enforcement, once it has to do with their own person, they will not do it. And you cannot have any other means, any other legitimate means within the constitutional framework that will carry that action apart from the police. So now we are seeing ourselves as a very, 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 very helpless situation. How can court give order police go and do this? Vacate that place, they will not vacate. Why? It's an aberration. It's an embarrassment. It's a total humiliation of other arms of the government. And there should be a way to deal with them. Because they do it at will and they go scot-free. What is wrong? So IG or police should hurriedly obey the order of court and obey the directive of National Assembly. But the problem they have is that they don't know the powers that National Assembly wield. The origin of democracy is not executive. Quote me right. It's not executive. Democracy has never had a mind executive. If you say the democracia, it has no executive in mind. That was why the original democratic system in the world is parliamentary system. Where among the elected executive, somebody will spring up among the equal to become the head. The original democracy, as Fatom, the ancient democratic period, meeting of where people nominate people, where people gather together to take decision. Because they don't know how to implement it. They don't come up with a head that will be the executive to implement the opinion of the general public. Is that gathering that is called demos, the gathering of the people, where people decide what they want to do. But they don't want to start calling Mr. A or Mr. B to come and do this. Okay, let us elect a leader, a head, that will now execute all these our agreements, all this our resolution. That is the meaning of democracy. So democracy has no executive in its original plan. They have no executive. So National Assembly is the amalgam, the collection of the opinion of people. That's why you have to send people from your own constituency, representing your voice, representing your idea, representing your opinion, your welfare, and everything. And once they congregate and aggregate their ideas or whatever and come up with a decision and say, do this, you must do it. Because refusing that means you are refuting the collective opinion of the whole Nigeria. The Nigerians that voted those people into that place to represent their voice. You are refusing that. That is where democracy is. Democracy is the National Assembly and not in the executive. So police should hardly, it is something very, very, I don't know, very, very regrettable and very embarrassing for a speaker or a senior president to direct the police on what to do. And police will say, we'll be hesitating to do that. So he should hurriedly go and enforce that law. And then order of court. If they are well read and they're able to know the meaning of yes, if they are well read and they know what a separation of powers is, they should know that a court is a different body. And once court says do, even if you're a president. That was why last time Kenyan court nullified the election of a president. And they stood until they come up with another election. Not even the president can disobey the order of court, let alone police. You know.
All right, you're still watching Democracy and the Rule of Law, and we've been taking a look at the Peace Corps bill, which the president refused to append his signature on. And we'll be right back after this break. Stay with us.